Good morning, happy Saturday. So I'm live. I go live to help people reverse chronic diseases naturally. Most of our chronic diseases are preventable. People don't know it. They are preventable, and we can put a lot of them in reverse depending on how far you are in your disease. So think about how health has evolved in this country since the 70s or even before. We have more and more people with chronic diseases, and we're talking about heart diseases, Alzheimer's, type 2 diabetes, all those diseases, they all have the same root cause. So if we can target the root cause, we can prevent them, we can reverse them. But people don't know how to do it. We have 75% of the population who's overweight and obese. And the problem is not the way we look, because in some cultures, being overweight and obese is a sign of abundance, is a sign of wealth. But obesity, carrying extra weight, is a symptom of chronic diseases. Basically, you are heading towards a disease when you are overweight and obese, more than likely, right? Have more chances of heading towards a disease or not. So I'm here today, and when I go live, to help people reverse those chronic diseases naturally with simple lifestyle changes. We can prevent them. We can put a lot of them in reverse. And my goal is to leave you better than you found me. So I want you to be empowered by the end of this live and to feel that you have something you can actually start implementing in your life today or start today or tomorrow to be healthier. So it's important for me that you are part of this live by tapping the screen just to say hello, type it 5 times, but also throughout this live, I need your input. So I need you to let me know that you're still here by tapping the screen, making comments, saying yes, or asking questions. Thank you. So I can see when you tap the screen. Otherwise, I'm basically looking at what you're looking at. I'm looking at myself, talking to myself. That's how it feels to do a live. So whenever you tap the screen, you make comments, it really helps me. Also, what it does, it lets the algorithm know that there's something going on in the life. So we're going to bring more people, because the things that I'm going to share with you can change your life or the life of somebody you know. Think about the people you know who have high blood pressure, who have high cholesterol, who carry their weight in the midsection, who are pre-diabetic, have type 2 diabetes. They may have, or you or somebody you know may have PCOS, infertility, hormonal imbalances. So those are conditions that are all related to the same thing. And they all lead to type 2 diabetes. Once you are type 2 diabetic, you're at high risk for heart diseases, for strokes, for the big C disease, for amputations, for blindness, Alzheimer's. Now we call Alzheimer's type 3 diabetes. So all those conditions are related to one thing: it's insulin resistance. 90% of people who are insulin resistant don't even know it. People have never heard of it, or they don't think they are insulin resistant. Even though your body's going to show you signs and symptoms for 10, 15 years before diagnosis of type 2 diabetes. So today we're going to look at those signs, those symptoms, and then we're going to look at what we can do, what brought us there, and what we can do to put all of this in reverse. So tap the screen 5 times if you are joining, if you haven't said hello yet. Give me a follow. It allows me to contact you and you to contact me. Otherwise, we cannot communicate. That's how the app is set up. My name is Noko. I am an exercise physiologist. I teach health nutrition at the college level. I'm also a personal trainer and registered yogi. I also teach yoga. So a lot of the things I do are basically, everything I do basically in my life is to empower people, to teach people how to live a healthier life and to prevent chronic diseases. And because I'm so into yoga, I really believe in holistic healing. Sometimes we have to take medications, but a lot of time we can use food to prevent or heal our body. I believe that food is medicine. I believe that what you put in your body either heals you or harms you. So there's a bottom arrow. If you look down, there's a bottom arrow. When you click on this arrow, you can invite more people. So do this during the live. You can invite people you are following on TikTok, people who follow you on TikTok, people from your own contact. Half of us are heading towards type 2 diabetes. Half of us, we just don't know. We are either pre-diabetic, type 2 diabetic. Half of us. And we don't know. 90% of us who are insulin resistant don't know it. What does it mean to be insulin resistant? Your body can use two main sources of energy. One is the glucose from the food that we eat. I don't know why it's asking me to do this. TikTok is asking me to do weird things. Okay, what is it asking me to do here? I don't want that, right? So your body can use two sources of energy, the glucose from the carbs we eat, or the stored fuel, stored fat. Thank you. We all want to access our stored fat. However, most of us are stuck using the sugar, the glucose. Because when you are insulin resistant, you cannot access your stored fat. This is why you start gaining weight. It's so hard to get it back down. So first, what happens, basically, this carbs breaks down in glucose. So you start first by having high blood sugar. You go to the doctor, they always check your glucose. And they may tell you, well, your glucose is a little bit high. You need to exercise, you need to eat better, you need to lose weight. And so over time, this high blood sugar, high blood glucose becomes high insulin. You become insulin resistant. But for some reason, people don't know it. I don't know if doctors are not telling patients or what's happening. 90% of people who are insulin resistant don't know it. After years of being insulin resistant, you become pre-diabetic and then type 2 diabetic. And then this is a high risk for the big C disease, for strokes, heart diseases, Alzheimer's, blindness, amputation, all those diseases. So when we consume carbohydrates, the body uses them for energy. The molecules of carbohydrates are too big for our body to process them. So the body's going to break them down in smaller molecules called sugar, blood glucose. And this glucose needs to enter our cells for energy. But in order to enter our cells, it needs a hormone called insulin. So let's say you had breakfast. Maybe you had waffles or toast or bagels. Those molecules will be broken down into glucose. This triggers a glucose spike. Now, this glucose spike will trigger the release of a hormone called insulin. Here comes insulin. Here are your cells. This is a cell. Cells have insulin receptors. So insulin connects with the cell receptors and unlock the cell receptors. They open up. It allows glucose to come down and enter your cells. That's the normal process. However, because of the type of carbohydrates we consume, sometimes we may have huge glucose spikes. Now, your body will try to overcompensate by quickly dropping the glucose. And this quick drop of glucose triggers hunger and cravings for more of the same thing. So if you had, let's say if you eat a lot of sugar, like cookies or cakes or pasta, rice, it's going to trigger more cravings for the same food. So what you do, you consume more of the same food. And it triggers another glucose spike. Insulin comes back in, connect with the cells. Cells open up, glucose goes in. But over time, you end up having glucose spikes all day long. You end up with a roller coaster of glucose spike in your blood all day long. Glucose goes up and down, up and down. And glucose can go up and down, but insulin needs way more time. So every time insulin is coming down, here comes another glucose spike. It's trying to come down, here comes another glucose spike. Eventually, insulin remains elevated most of the time. And because it's elevated, it connects with the cells all the time. And the cells, after a while, it becomes like a background noise. They don't react anymore. So there's more insulin trying to make the cells react, but over time they don't respond. You have become insulin resistant. 90% of people who are insulin resistant don't know it. Your body will send you signs, symptoms for years before a diagnosis of type 2 diabetes. So today we're going to look at some of those signs. and symptoms, and then we're going to look at what we can do about it. So I need your input here. Yes, user 400 told you it's also that level because it's genetic. For a long time, yes, for a long time we said if you have people who are type 2 diabetic in your family, you're at high risk. So this is the thing with genes. There's this thing called epigenetic. The best way to explain it is you have light bulbs in a room. It's dark until you flip the switch. It's the same with some of those genes. Let's say that you are predisposed to type 2 diabetes. If you don't flip the switch, you're not going to have it. You have to flip the switch, right? So type 2 diabetes is a lifestyle disease. It's a lifestyle disease, which is a good thing. It means by changing your lifestyle, you can put it in reverse. If you're just joining, please tap the screen 5 times to say hello. Thank you for the follow, Kema. Yes, user 400 bread will make your sugar rise, definitely. We're going to talk more about food. We're first going to look at those signs, symptoms, and then we're going to be more specific with the type of food. Hey, Mojo. So we're going to talk, user 400, you're at the right place. We're going to talk about how to basically manage this blood sugar. If it's up, what to do to bring it down and why it's going up. Thank you for your comments. Thank you so much. Whatever questions you have, put them here. I check the comments every so often. Oops, here, I think I saw something. Bijou, are you French? Do you speak French? Thank you, Jungle Justice, for the follow. You can click the little arrow or the plus signs to give me a follow. All right, so when you become insulin resistant, let's look at some of those signs, right? You become insulin resistant, it means that your blood sugar is piling up in your blood. It has a hard time going to the cells. They're no longer opening up. So you have a backup of sugar. And the best way to describe it is, or to explain it, is this way. Imagine you go to the grocery store and you pack your cart with groceries. You go home and you put everything in the fridge. You pack it to its max. You can barely close the door. That's how your blood is. It's flooded with glucose. The groceries is the glucose, or the glucose. And now you realize you have more groceries in the trunk of your car. But you have no more space in your fridge. What do? You're gonna put some in the pantry, some in the freezer. And that's what's happening in your blood. You have a backup of glucose. The fridge is packed. Insulin is gonna take care of this excess glucose. It's gonna show you signs all over your body. So let's look at some of the signs. And you can put a yes or one in the comments when you recognize the sign. You may have, we say high blood sugar or your high A1C, right? High glucose in your blood. You may be fatigued, tired all the time, low energy. You may have constant hunger. So whenever you recognize a sign, I need your input here. Put a 1. Constant hunger. You eat a big meal and you feel like everybody around you is like they feel full, but you're like, I can still eat. Or 2 hours later, you can start over with the same amount of food and you're like, what's wrong with me? So let's put another 1 or yes in the comments. You have a hard time losing the weight. Since you were in your best weight, you keep adding more weight over time. This is because when insulin is elevated, insulin will not let your body use the stored fat for energy. It will only use the glucose from the food you eat. You can never access the stored fat. So you're struggling with weight control. Put a 1 or yes in the comments if you have cravings. It can be cravings for sugary food. you almost obsessed with food. You always want to put something in your mouth. Some people it's sugary food. I used to have a sweet tooth. Some people it's crunchy, salty food, chips or crackers. Some people it's chocolates, cakes, cookies, soft drinks. Some people it's soft drinks. We buy soft drinks. Put a yes or one in the comments if you feel fatigue after your meal, especially if you have a big meal, then you feel like you need this afternoon nap. It's because depending on the type of food you consume, you have a big glucose spike. Your body will overcompensate by quickly dropping the glucose, and now you crash. You need the afternoon nap. Put a yes in the comments or one if you have brain fog, migraine headaches, start to forgetting things, maybe you forget words, or you walk into a room, you don't remember what it is. This is because when you are insulin resistant, the glucose has a hard time going to your cells. So you are starving some of your cells. That's why sometimes you are fatigued all the time, you have low energy. You're also starving your brain cells. So this is the beginning of, some signs, symptoms. We're heading towards Alzheimer's. We now call Alzheimer's type 3 diabetes. Not all Alzheimer's, but some form of Alzheimer's are insulin resistance related, preventable. Put a yes or one in the comment if you start to carry your weight around your midsection. Whenever you gain weight, it's always here. When you lose weight, it's never here. This is because when you are insulin resistant, you have a backup of glucose, right? Your cells are no longer responding to insulin. They are locked. You keep eating, so you have the glucose piling up. You have a backup of glucose. And now we talked about how when you have a lot of groceries, you put everything in the fridge. Whatever cannot go in the fridge, you put in the pantry or in the freezer. That's what insulin is doing. The excess glucose is going to be stored in your body in the form of fat. And all over your body, but also inside and around your organs. This is where your organs are located. So it's going to be stored around and inside your organs. You may end up with a protruding belly. Thank you for liking the live. Yes, please stop the screen 5 times if you're still here with me. Carry your weight right here. This is the most dangerous place to store your stored fuel, stored energy, because it's highly linked to stroke and heart attacks. Because it can lead to a condition that's called fatty liver. Fatty liver used to be a condition that only people who are alcoholic had. Now we call it non-alcoholic fatty liver. There are people as young as children with a fatty liver. This is sad. This is scary. Because it's preventable. It's reversible with the strategies I'm going to share. It's reversible. You probably have no signs that you are, if you have a non-alcoholic fatty liver. It can progress to cirrhosis of the liver, which is not reversible. Put a 1 or yes in the comment if you have low thyroid or Hashimoto. Put another yes or 1 in the comment if you have high blood pressure, high cholesterol, high triglyceride. Hey, I remember T-Vegan. You got your box yesterday. Yes. I'm so excited. We're going to connect soon. You have low thyroid, Mama Cat. Yes, Miss Ultimate Beauty. Being bloated is different from the fat. Yes, bloating means you have something that creates gas in your abdomen. And it can be, that's kind of a tricky one because there can be so many different reasons. Sometimes it can be stress. Sometimes it can be, let's say if you talk a lot, especially if you talk a lot when you eat, or if you speak in public a lot, depending on how you do it, you may inhale a lot of gas and you're going to feel it right after you talk. You're kind of gassy. Sometimes it's a condition that we call IBS, irritable bowel syndrome. Sometimes you're bloated, sometimes you're constipated, sometimes you have diarrhea, you have pain, discomfort. And IBS is challenging because it's a diagnosis of non-diagnosis. Basically, the doctor will eliminate some cause. It's going to say, okay, it's not the big C disease. It's not this, it's not this. It's telling you it's not X, Y, and Z, but it's not telling you exactly what it is, because it can be so many things. But when you have, it can be the food you eat. It could be an allergic reaction to something or intolerance of something. But it also can be due to insulin resistance in the way that you're not eating the right food. You have a lot of inflammation, and this inflammation is going to damage the lining of your gut. So it can be so many things. Put a yes or one. Oh, high blood pressure. A lot of times when we have high blood pressure, we are being told stop eating salty food. And why? It's not actually the salty food. It's not the salty food. It's insulin resistance. How does it work? Insulin will make your kidney retain more water. So you can have more blood volume. You have more blood volume in your vessels. It causes more pressure, right? Imagine your blood vessels like a hose. And if you would put more volume of liquid, it's going to create more pressure. That's one thing. Insulin resistance also causes those blood vessels to thicken on the inside. So instead of having this much space inside the blood vessels, you're going to have that much, but the same amount of blood volume. So it causes more pressure on the inside. Insulin also makes your blood vessels less pliable, less flexible. Blood vessels are supposed to be able to kind of expand, right? They're supposed to be flexible. But when you have too much insulin, it makes them rigid, so they cannot expand. So it's not the salt, it's insulin. And we're going to talk about what causes insulin resistance. We kind of talked about it already. Put a 1 or a yes in the comment if you have hormonal imbalances. And we're talking about in men, it can be erectile dysfunction. We used to think that it was something that only happened to men in the 80s. Now it's 25% of men under the age of 40. That's a huge number. In women, insulin damages or overwhelms the ovaries. And instead of producing enough estrogen, women start producing what we call the androgen-like hormones like testosterone. And it keeps women from having a monthly cycle. So they have irregular cycles and a condition called PCOS. This is the number one cause of infertility in women in the country. Women may also have facial hair. Can be on the cheeks, on the jaw, on the neck, chin, upper lip, maybe on the chest. Women may also have what we call cystic acne right here. And what do we do when we have this? We go to the dermatologist. They give us an ointment that has all kinds of side effects. We treat the symptoms, but not the root cause. What do we do with the facial hair? We plug it or shave it. We're not treating the root cause, so it comes back. Put a 1 in or yes in the comments if you have skin tags on the neck, right? Little flap of skin or little dots like pinheads can be on the neck. Those little flaps of skin, they can be also at the corner of the eyes, on the eyelids, underneath the armpits. Put a yes or 1 in the comments, and I will read your comments. So you can put questions or comments now if you want. I will read them. Put a 1 or yes in the comments if you have psoriasis, eczema. Thank you for liking the live. Yes, please tap the screen. Put a 1 or yes in the comments if you have those dark velvety patches of skin. They can be under your armpits. They can be on your knuckles, in the groin area, behind your knees. But you may have like a line here, darker pigmentation here. And it may look like it's dirty skin, but you know it doesn't go away with water and soap. You've tried to rub it off, it doesn't go away. This is a strong indication there's too much insulin. Because insulin is a growth hormone, so it creates more skin pigmentation. That's what it is. So you cannot wash off skin pigmentation. But it can be reversed with the solutions I'm going to be sharing with you. The same with those skin tags. Some people, they use scissors to cut them off. They put a string around them, they go to the dermatologist. When you do this, you address the symptoms, not the root cause. By addressing the root cause, that's what we're going to do today, they will fade away. Arino Khan, Geneviève Just Food. Thank you for sharing. Hi, Joseph. Miss Ultimate Beauty, yes. Eczema, Loretta. Skin tags, right? So skin tags per se, if you're talking Miss Ultimate Beauty, if you're talking are they bad, the skin tags, they are harmless per se. We just don't like the way they look. But what's more serious is what they mean, right? The underlying cause, insulin resistance, is not a good thing because it leads to prediabetes, type 2 diabetes, heart diseases, stroke, all those things. But with the conditions, the solution I'm going to share with you, they are natural lifestyle changes. They will fade away. Hey, Hancock. Checking the comments. Yes, Miss Ultimate Beauty. Whatever you learned today, you share with your parents, and then if they, I want to invite all of you actually to. How can I do this? Every Tuesday. I don't know if this coming Tuesday there's going to be one because of the holidays, but there's a live Zoom, where, if you have people like your parents or some people who are not on TikTok, they want to learn more about what I'm sharing today, they can access it. You can just, contact me and say Zoom link, and I can share you the link for that. So we've talked about all those conditions. For those of you who are joining now, my name is Noko. I am an exercise physiologist. I teach health nutrition at the college level. I'm a strength coach working with athletes. I'm a personal trainer, a registered yogi, so I teach yoga. And I'm here today to empower you, to teach you how you can reverse chronic conditions naturally. Because I have to be really careful on what I'm saying where we are here. I have to be very careful because sometimes I don't want to be blocked, basically. We've been taught a lot of things about how to eat and what we eat. And this causes where we are today. 75% of us being overweight and obese. 50% of us heading towards type 2 diabetes. So I want to leave you empowered. I want you to leave you better than you found me today. And the solutions I'm going to share can help you or your loved one. Because if you know people, sometimes, they feel there's no other options than to be basically prescribed medications. And if you or somebody you know are on medications, don't get off them without your doctor's supervision. I want you first to hear what I'm saying, lower your insulin resistance before you get off those medications. So when we are insulin resistant for all those years, we looked at some symptoms right now, right? We looked at those symptoms. And when we get to a place where we have high cholesterol, high blood sugar, high blood pressure, pre-diabetic, type 2 diabetic, we are given all those medications. And eventually, when we are type 2 diabetic, we are told the condition is chronic. You're going to be on medication for the rest of your life. And we feel horrible. We feel defeated because we feel like there's nothing we can do. There's something you can do. There's a lot of things you can do. And they are not as complicated as you think. You can be like, oh, that makes sense. I wish I knew this a long time ago. And when we take those medications, it's not my place to decide for you. If you love them, stay on them. But if you want something else, there's other things. They have also side effects. And some of them, the GLP-1 medications are very expensive. You spend $900, $1,200 a month. And then you have to keep taking them for the rest of your life, because there is no medication for type 2 diabetes. There's no medication for insulin resistance. This is why you have to stay on medication for the rest of your life. If those medications worked, you wouldn't have to be on them for the rest of your life. There's no medication for insulin resistance because it's a lifestyle disease, which is the good thing. So today, instead of trying to address all of those symptoms separately, I'm going to teach you how to reverse insulin resistance. This is the root cause of all those symptoms, all those chronic diseases we talked about. So why do you think, tell me in the comments, why do you think we are in a place where most of us are heading towards a chronic disease? It wasn't the case 50 years ago. What is it? You know, I teach health at the college level, and I still remember the time where I would tell my students that 60% of us were overweight and obese. I thought this number was huge. I thought it's more than half of us. Now it's 75%. Why? What is it? So I'm drinking, actually, I can show you this now, right? In the morning, that's what I drink. Actually, I can show you now since you're asking me. That's a tea, right? I'm going to show you how I make it. Yes, it's the food we eat, Loretta. It's the food we eat, right? So that's the tea I drink instead of breakfast. That's my breakfast, basically. That's my breakfast. Yeah, it's the food we eat. It's modern diet. Modern diet, we call it the SAD diet, Standard American Diet. That's the name, the SAD diet, Standard American Diet. And the food we eat today is no longer what it used to be. 150 years ago, let me shake it a bit more. 150 years ago, people ate food that came from nature. The vegetables, the legumes, the fruits, and animals. So those, right, we call it whole food, the vegetables, the fruits, the legumes, it's called whole food. It also ends up in glucose in our body. There are also carbs, the same as the donuts and the waffles and the bread. They all end up in glucose. However, whole food is processed differently by the body. In order to extract the glucose from the whole food, it takes a lot of work because whole food, food that comes from the earth, is wrapped in fibers. So your body's going to have to do a lot of work to extract the glucose. And instead of having a big glucose spike followed by a crash that triggers hunger or cravings for more food, you're going to have a smooth hill. And those fibers going to make you feel full. They're going to also clean your arteries of the cholesterol. They're not going to trigger hunger and cravings. So modern diet, the diet that we eat today, over 70% is processed. Over 70% of the food you have in grocery stores are processed. What does it mean? It means that basically food makers take the whole food, remove the fibers, a lot of the fibers, and add all kinds of additives. Now those fibers, not only they make us feel full, they clean our arteries, they feed our good gut bacteria, they help prevent colon cancer. So why would they remove the fibers? It's not a vitamin C. It's basically a yerba mate. It's a drink that it comes from South America, and it is so powerful. It has so many nutrients, so many nutritional values naturally occurring that in South America they call it liquid gold. So it puts all the food that we eat today, all the produce, they do not contain the same amount of nutrients they used to because of soil deprivation. So this brings all the nutrients back. Also, what happens when this basically increase your own GLP-1, right? GLP-1 is a hormone that we all have that tells our brain that we don't need to eat. We're not hungry anymore. So if you have cravings, this helps with the cravings. It also helps shrinks your fat cells. It makes your cells less sensitive to insulin, more sensitive to insulin, so you become less insulin resistant. It helps with muscle contraction, muscle recovery, gives you a lot of energy, but it's calm energy, focused energy. Some people like coffee in the morning because of the boost, but coffee gives you a big boost and then kind of a crash. This gives you sustained energy. So I take this in the morning instead of breakfast. So those food makers, why would they remove? You may invite them to follow you. Oh, I'm trying to follow what you say. It's called Love You Back. Welcome back. Good morning. Good morning. So why would food makers remove fibers if we know they're good for us? Over 70% of the food available in grocery stores is processed. Why would they do that? Oops. What am I doing here? All right. So I'll give you one reason. One of the reasons is that it allows the food to stay on the shelves longer without spoiling. Yes, it's cheaper. Yes, it's called love. Yes, it's cheaper. Also, when there's less fibers in food, it makes us hungrier. It doesn't make us feel full. And then it causes a glucose spike and a drop. So we hungrier. We get cravings. So we eat more, we buy more food. And then we've been taught, at least, if you are my age, maybe you heard this. Let me put a yes in the comments if you heard that before. We need to eat every 2 to 3 hours to keep our metabolism high. We have breakfast, lunch, dinner, and then we have snacks in between. That's the right way to eat. That's what we were taught. Anybody heard that before? Loretta, you heard that, right? For those of you who are just joining, tap the screen 5 times to say hello so I know you're here. So, of course, to them, it's great if we believe that, right? We need to keep eating throughout the day, so we buy more food. We go to the grocery store. Thank you, thank you. We go to a grocery store, we buy breakfast, lunch, dinner, and all those snacks that they sell us. They are packaged, by the way. They are packaged. So when food is packaged, most of the time, if you look at the back labels, there's a list of ingredients. Sometimes there's a big list of ingredients. The more ingredients, the more additive they put into it, typically. How many of you heard that before? Breakfast is the most important meal of the day. Breakfast is the most important meal of the day. Guess who came up with the slogan? Kellogg's company, a breakfast company. This was a slogan they came up with in the mid-70s, 50 years ago. Right. Arinoko and Loretta, right? We've heard that before. It's a breakfast company. So now we know we have to get the pancakes with the syrup, with the orange juice. Guess what? When you eat orange juice, any fruit juice, you spike your glucose first thing in the morning. So first thing in the morning, you spike your glucose. You sabotage the rest of your day because now you have cravings all day long. This, right? I'm not talking about the brand, just an example, orange juice, will spike your glucose as much as this. Your body doesn't know the difference whether it comes from a fruit or this. Now you're going to tell me, yes, there's vitamin nutrients. Yes. If we put vitamins and nutrients into this, would you think it's healthy? Probably not. So if you like your orange juice, squeeze your oranges, but eat the pulp. That's what I do. I eat the pulp. At least you have some pulp, right? A little bit of fibers. It's better to eat the whole fruit. ideally. So that's what we've been taught, right? This is the drink, the morning drink, or the hot chocolate, or the sweetened coffee, or okay, this. Let me show you this. Um, See, they are really good with their marketing, right? This slogan, "Breakfast is the most important meal of the day," came out 50 years ago. We still remember it. So this is Starbucks, right? They When they first came out, we used to think they are so expensive. But however, they're so good with the marketing, everybody goes there. I have nothing against them. Every fall, I used to go get my pumpkin spice latte. I had not been in years, probably since COVID. So I decided to go last October, like last month. I purchased the pumpkin spice latte, the big one. It cost me $7.95, $8 with and 16 cubes of sugar. I spent $8 to spike my glucose. We think it's normal. We don't think twice about it. There are people who go every day. I've had people on this live who spend $700 a month going there. And we go there, our brain knows we're going to be spiking our glucose and we're going to have a craving. So we buy the food that goes with it. So we double spike our glucose. So we spend probably $15. Exactly. Exactly. It's called up. Yes, all the artificial ingredient and syrup they put in here. Exactly. Loretta, you love the pop. Yes, I love the fresh squeezed orange juice too. It doesn't mean you should never have it. I'm going to tell you how to do it, how you can have it. Feeling extra old today? Why is that? Yes, this is the thing. We're about to talk about those solutions. And when you make those lifestyle changes, you stop craving the sugar. You start craving healthy food. So this syrup, actually, to tell you the truth, I didn't drink it. I tasted it. I was like, oh, this actually does taste good, but it was so sweet. So I thought I'm gonna maybe drink it another time. I put it in my fridge, and the next day I was like, I should have asked for less sugar, but I forgot how sweet it was. So by the end of this life, you'll know what to do so you don't have those cravings for the sweet, sugary food. So all these food makers in the US, they have access to 10,000 additives they can put in the food, compared to Europe where they have access to 400. Most of the food additives we use here are banned in Europe. McDonald's French fries contain 11 ingredients. However, when McDonald's produces French fries in Europe, they contain 3 ingredients because all the rest are banned. These additives some of them are linked to autism, ADHD, carcinogens. Carcinogens means they lead to the big C disease. Endocrine disruptors, hormonal disruptors, damage the DNA of our cells. So that's what we add in our food. Whenever we produce the food here, that's what we do. However, those companies, when they produce the same food out of the country to Europe, they use different things to color the food. They use carrot juice, beetroots, blueberry color for the food, for the drinks. Instead, here we put those chemicals because it's cheaper. It's cheaper. So here are some of the solutions. And I'm going to share different solutions. You can pick the one that works the best for you. I'm going to also use a supplement that I use that makes it easier for some of us. For some of us, it can be easy to start with nothing. But for some of us, it's almost impossible. So you pick if you need the supplement or not. And some of you can use one solution. But obviously, the more of the solutions you use, the better. The quicker the results, the better the results. So it's going to be really up to you. But please do something. Do something. First solution is the hardest. First solution is basically to build muscle mass. Muscle is the organ of longevity. You need it for everything. So I'm sitting up here, I am not leaning back. I'm using my muscle. I can sit on the floor for a very long time because I've built the muscles. I teach yoga, and at the beginning of the semester, every semester, I teach at the college level. So at the beginning of the semester, almost none of my students can sit up straight on the floor. They all have to put their hands behind them and lean back on the floor because they don't have the strength, even in their 20s. After age 30, we start losing our muscle mass, all of us. When we go through menopause, ladies, it's even worse. It gets even faster. If you are taking those GLP-1s medication, this is one of the side effects. 40% of the weight you lose is muscle mass. You need muscles to get up from a chair. You need muscles to get out from a car without anybody helping you. You need muscles to get out of your bed. You need muscles to carry your groceries, to put the food or whatever in the upper cabinet. You need muscles for everything. Muscle is the organ of longevity. You can do everything around the house with more ease if you have muscles. You start walking faster. You feel more energized. You feel stronger and more confident. You have more balance. So you need to build muscle mass. Muscle is the glucose disposal site of your body. We're talking about, when you are insulin resistant because you have all this glucose, all this sugar. Muscle is your body's glucose disposal site. Somebody who's muscular, who has lean, we're talking about lean muscle mass, can get away with eating so many things that are not healthy. That's not the goal. But it's going to be harder for them to become type 2 diabetic because of all the muscle mass. Because muscles, when they contract, they soak up the blood sugar. So you need to build this muscle mass. And I know that's hard because it implies that you need to find the time. We all have 24 hours in a day. And it means that you're going to have to make the time for it if you don't go to the gym. It's hard to build muscle mass because it takes time. You're not going to build it in 30 days. For some of you, it may take 3 months. For some of you, 6 or 9 months. And that's fine. There's no race. But you have to get started. And I know it's hard because at first, you may not feel like it. I almost never feel like it. But I go 3, 5, 6, 7 times a week. I don't listen to myself saying, I don't feel like it, so what? Go anyway. I'm tired, go anyway. That's what I tell myself. Tired, go anyway. I'm hungry, go anyway. I need to do X, Y, and Z, go anyway. So I make exercise and going to the gym a priority. It means if somebody invites me to do something, it has to be around my workout or they have to come with me. If I travel, guess what? I work out at the airport. If I'm in a hotel, either there's a gym or I work out in the room. No matter where I go, I'm going to be doing the work. So it is hard the first 6 months until it becomes part of your lifestyle. It is hard. Think of it as building a house. It takes a lot of manpower to build a house. And then you just have to maintain it. To build muscle mass, you need to work on your muscles 3 to 5 times a week. Once you have the muscle mass, going twice a week for 40 minutes, you just maintain it. And then you feel, I never regret going to the gym. I'm always, always happy when I walk out the gym. I'm happy about myself and what I did. I feel better. I feel more energized. But I regret not going. If I don't go, I regret it all the time. So you have to pick your heart. It's going to be hard to go to the gym and build muscle mass. But it's hard to have high cholesterol, high blood pressure, type 2 diabetes, Alzheimer's. It's hard to have erectile dysfunction, infertility, blindness, amputation. Pick your heart. There's no way around it. You have to pick your heart. It's not in between. It's one or the other. So if you start now, I would encourage you to start now. I know the holidays are around the corner. I know we use them as an excuse because we have so much to do around the holidays. They come every year. We know it's coming, but we use them as an excuse to postpone things. So please do not make it a New Year's resolution. And this is why. I worked as a personal trainer for years. Every year after New Year, this is what happens. People gain 3 to 10 pounds during the holidays. They feel depressed at the end of the year. They make a New Year resolution. After New Year, the gym is packed until March. Then it's empty. 88% of New Year's resolution never reach their goals, right? That's based, I read, the articles. I did some research. Actually, in the articles I read, they say it lasts 2 weeks. I give people more credit. At the gym, it lasts about 3 months. I would say 2 to 3 months. So if you start now, by March, some of you will be already there with your muscle mass that you need. And some of you will be halfway there. And you will be so happy that you started now. It's going to help you to go through the holidays way better because exercise helps with stress. And it's going to minimize the impact of the holidays. So that's the first solution. I know it's the hardest. It's the hardest, but you got to do it. You have 6 weeks? Is it 6 weeks before the end of the year? Why throw them away? Why throw them away? Don't wait. So if you're joining now, tap the screen to say hello. Tap the screen 5 times. Are these recorded? So I can check if they are recorded, but I'm live every weekdays, 6:45 a.m. Pacific time. And in the evening around 7, it depends on the evening, but I try to come live between 7:30, 8 p.m. Pacific time. Weekends, I don't have a schedule. I can try to put them on maybe YouTube. I have to say the word quietly. Yes, to build Anna, to build muscle mass. Great questions. So sometimes we don't know what is it building muscle mass? Can I go for a walk or jog? This will improve your cardiovascular health. That's very important too. But building muscle, you have to lift weight. You have to lift the weight. So you have to work on the same muscle 3 to 5 times a week. If you do it 5 times, better than 3 because you get quicker results. And to build muscle mass, you need to lift weight 3 to 5 sets with 8 to 12 repetitions. So if do I have a little dumbbell? I have a tiny dumbbell here. So if I was to work on my biceps here, I would do, let's say, 10 repetitions. Biceps curl. The last 3 repetitions, I should be struggling. Should be hard. If it's too light, I need to put more weight. If you do 15, 20 repetitions, you're not building muscle mass. Muscle mass is 8 to 12 repetitions with a weight that allows you to do no more than 12. After one set, I rest for 90 seconds. So what do you do during those 90 seconds? Some people, they just on their phone. Some people, they sit on the machine. Some people do nothing. You can stretch or you can work on another muscle. I would recommend to rest at first. If you work on another muscle, it's a really hard workout at first. And you do this for all your muscle groups. If I work on my muscle today's Saturday, they need to rest Sunday. You don't work on the same muscles twice, 2 days in a row. If you do this, you're not going to build you don't give your muscles enough time to rest. So I would work on my muscles again Monday. Where are my glasses here? Yes, Miss Ultimate Beauty. Yes, working out, when you go to the gym, sometimes you are tired. But once you go to the gym and there's the music, everybody's working out, it really energizes you. If you've never worked out, gyms often have classes where they use dumbbells. Try one of those classes. That's the easiest way to do it, because you know the class starts at a certain time, you have to be there at a certain time, and then you have somebody showing you what to do. So that's the first solution. That's the hardest. Hey Didi, good afternoon. Did they ship to Africa? Let me look where they ship. Some countries, let me see here. So they ship to Egypt, Morocco, South Africa. That's where they ship in Africa. Where are you located, Queen? So if you're just joining, tap the screen 5 times to say hello. We're talking about natural solutions to reverse anything related to type 2 diabetes, insulin resistance, high blood pressure, high cholesterol, abdominal obesity. We have a hard time losing the weight, hormonal imbalances. Okay, first solution. Let's talk about the other solution. Oops, that's not what I want. Other solutions, right? They are easier. So second solution, we know that most of us are eating this processed food. This processed food creates hunger, craving, addictions to sugary food. We snack all day long. We can stop. So we are in this pattern where we can stop. And that's the type of food that we eat. That's processed. Only 5% of Americans consume enough fibers. So second solution is to put more whole food, more fibers into our diet. How do you know the food that you eat is high in fibers or whole food? It's pretty simple. If it's packaged, most of the time, not all the time, most of the time, it is processed. They have removed the fibers. If you look at the back label, there's a list of ingredients. The first ingredient on the list, that's the main ingredient of what you're eating. So if it says flour, you're eating mainly flour. Flour is not whole food. Whole food is food that's made by nature. It comes from the earth. Flour doesn't come from nature. When you drink an orange juice, there's no orange juice on trees. There are oranges on trees. So when you drink the orange juice, it's processed. You're spiking your glucose. There's no cereals growing out of the earth. It's processed. It spikes your glucose. So you want, instead of telling you to stop eating all the processed food, it's kind of impossible for most of us to just shift. I'd rather tell you add more whole food into your diet. When you go to the grocery store, number one, go after you eat. If you go when you're hungry, it's impossible. You're gonna buy the sugary, sweet, unhealthy food. So go after you eat when you feel full. Make a list. Stick to the list. Otherwise, I know what we do. We find, oh, let me get this and that. Stick to the outside aisles. The middle aisles is where you have all the packaged food. Food that's most of it is processed. The outside aisles where you have the produce. So the vegetables. When you buy a carrot, there's no label on the back saying a list of ingredients, because it's one thing. It's just carrot. It's whole food. So it's not processed. It's high in fibers. So eat more, add more vegetables into your diet, more legumes. It's going to make you feel full. It's going to lower your post-meal blood glucose. It's going to lower your cravings and hunger. Now, the problem is that even the food that we have, the produce today, even when we eat a lot of produce, it's really hard to have the right amount of fibers because and nutrients because of soil deprivation. If you wanted to have the equivalent nutrients in one orange that people ate 100 years ago, you would have to eat 7 oranges today. That's how depleted our soils are, our produce are. And the fibers. Think about it. When you go to the grocery store, do you find grapes with seeds? Where I go, they have both. Some places they only have grapes with no seeds. When you buy your watermelons, do they have a lot of seeds? Probably not, because it's rare to find watermelons with seeds. Watermelons used to have a lot of seeds. This slows down the absorption of glucose. If you eat your grapes with the seeds, it's going to slow down the absorption of glucose. It's going to scrape everything in your colon, help prevent colon cancer. Now they even create lemons with no seeds. I'm not sure why. But bananas. Bananas used to have seeds. You know the little 3 dots in the center? Those used to be seeds. They no longer have seeds. Sometimes I have people on this live, they say, yes, when, where I think it was, what country? Puerto Rico, where they still had seeds. Miss Ultimate Beauties, fiber powder, good, we're going to talk about this. Arinocon, I'm going to talk about what I'm sipping on. Yes, Joseph, you can have frozen vegetables. Absolutely. Canned vegetables, look what they add to it. Sometimes they add all kinds of things. So you want the frozen is better. So fibers, yes. So I add fibers. And when you add fibers, you want different sources of fibers. You don't want just one fibers. We are used to those here, right? We use those when we don't know what to take as fibers. So we just buy whatever we find. The one I showed you is just one fiber. It's an insoluble fiber, so it's gonna go through your body and help you have a bowel movement. That's great. But you want fibers that feed your gut bacteria. You want fibers, the one I use, they basically are highly viscous. And what it means is that when you mix them with water, if I mix this with water, it's going to be clear. I can drink it, right? The one I take, they're really, really thick. It's like a gel. And when you drink them before your meal, what they do, they expand in your stomach so you feel full. They lower the post-meal blood glucose by 34 to 37%. That's huge if you have type 2 diabetes, high insulin, or those glucose, too much glucose in your body. They also clean your arteries of cholesterol. They feed your good gut bacteria. Since I've been taking them, I have no more cravings for sugar. They also clean your colon. They are like no other on the market. How do I know it? Because they are so good that the company, they put 4 patents on it. It means nobody can copy them. The big companies who prescribe our medications, they cannot have it. If they had it, you would know about it. Everybody would know about it. So those are the fibers I take. I mix them with water. I'm going to show you exactly what it is. Checking the comments before I show you the other thing. So that's the second solution. Okay, the third solution is super important. So please, please, please pay attention. Pay attention. We talked about how our body can use 2 main sources of energy. The glucose from the carbs we eat, or the stored fat. We all want our body to use it. Most of us are stuck here because when you have high insulin, your body can never access the stored fat. This is why we start gaining. When we have too much glucose, insulin will store it around our midsection, around our body, but also around our organs. And because every time insulin is elevated, it's telling your body, nope, you can never go here, can never take what's stored. You can only use the energy from the food you eat. So with this solution, it's going to teach you how to access this stored fat. It's called, I have to watch my words. It's called time-based eating. I eat only 2 meals a day. And I used to have a sweet tooth. I used to eat all day long. I used to eat at every hour of the day. I never thought I could be able to eat twice a day. So just bear with me. I want you first to understand why it works. And then I'll explain to you what I do to make it work. So 2 meals a day. My meals are between noon and 8 p.m. The rest of the time, there's no meal. You can move this window however you want it throughout the day. So I eat dinner, let's say at 7 p.m. I'm going to have a glucose spike because of my meal. That's normal. Insulin is going to come up to allow the glucose to get into the cells. Because the insulin is here, I can only use the glucose for energy, right? My body, hold on. This app is asking me to do something here. I have to do a little puzzle here. I passed the test. Okay, I'm still here. So because insulin is here, your body can only use the energy from the food you ate. So after dinner, I stop eating, no snacking. It means that by midnight, my glucose is all the way down. Insulin needs more time. So you go to bed, insulin keeps going down, keeps going down, keeps going down. In the morning, there's no glucose, no insulin. You wake up and you skip breakfast. And I know some of you are thinking there's no way. That's how you still think to feel. Breakfast is the most important meal of the day. That's what we've learned. And I used to feel like, I'm going to have nausea, I'm going to be shaky, I'm going to be moody, I'm going to be hangry if I don't have breakfast. So I'm going to teach you what I'm doing. Skip breakfast. Why do you skip breakfast? Your body still needs the energy. There's no glucose, no insulin. Your body's going to go to the stored fat. Wherever you have it, your body can take it. We want to keep our body in a fat burning mode the whole morning. So no snacking the whole morning. At lunch, normal meal, glucose comes up, insulin comes up. The body's going to use the energy from the glucose. Between lunch and dinner, no snacking. Glucose comes down, insulin starts going down. You've just learned how you can train your body to use the glucose from the food for energy when there's insulin, or the stored fat for energy when there's no insulin. When you can go from one to the other, when your body can go from one to the other, you are what we call metabolically flexible. You can go from one to the other. That's what we want. We don't want to be stuck in one or the other. We want to be able to switch. Most of us are stuck in the glucose. So the concept, right, the theory, the physiology behind it, it's simple. To do it, for some people, it's easy. So if you can do it on your own, that's great. Most people who are insulin resistant, they are always hungry because GLP-1 is a hormone that our gut produces to tell us that we are no longer hungry, that we don't need to eat, we don't think about food, we don't have cravings. When you are insulin resistant, usually you don't produce a lot of GLP-1, and you have all those cravings, and you're stuck in this pattern of spiking your glucose, crashing afterwards, and then I'm getting a message here. Let me move it. And then spiking your glucose, and then having those glucose spikes, hunger cravings, and we are stuck here. We eat all day long. So if you can do it without anything, that's fine. I'm using a supplement, and that's what I've been sipping on. This is a potent yerba mate drink from South America. You take it in the morning without eating. You replace your breakfast. It's not a meal replacement. What it does, it boosts your own production of GLP-1. GLP-1 is those medications that cost $900, $1,200 a month that people inject, whether they have type 2 diabetes or they have high cholesterol. They are sometimes prescribed those medications. People who are overweight, there's more and more younger people using those GLP-1. They inject synthetic GLP-1 to your body. And the concern is that your own GLP-1 goes to sleep because there's so much injecting into your body, your hormone doesn't need to work. And 2 years down the road, when you either lost the weight or you're tired of the side effects, the concern is that your GLP-1 remains asleep and hunger comes back with a vengeance. So this naturally boosts your own production of GLP-1. It shrinks your fat cells. It makes your cells more sensitive to insulin. That's all naturally occurring in this plant. It's a yerba mate plant. It's becoming very popular. You find a lot of it in grocery stores. But this one that is not sold in grocery stores. This one is an extract. It means it's potent. Think of it as an essential oil. It makes improved muscle contraction and recovery. We talked about building this muscle mass, and actually some Olympic athletes are using this. It's actually this one here. Are using this brand. It also gives you energy without the jitters. It puts you in a good mood. So I take this in the morning. So I take it warm in the morning because now it's chilly in the morning. And then I take another one in the afternoon. When I go to the gym, when I teach yoga, I always have that. It makes you feel amazing. And then we talked about the fibers. Did I show you the fibers I take? This is a blend of 7 fibers. So I told you about the fibers I'm taking. And basically I do time-based eating. I eat 2 meals a day. That's it. I don't need more with that. I don't need more because you stop thinking about food. You're not hungry. And since I've been taking this, I have no desire for sweets. No more desire for sweets. Starting now really helped minimize the impact of the holidays. And eating 2 meals a day is amazing. I cook once a day, enough food for the next day lunch. T. Danielle, great question. How long does it take to become no longer insulin resistant? And Ari Nokon, I will show you exactly what it is, where you can get it. It depends on people. I'm going to show you different people because we all at a different place in our journey. Some of us are barely insulin resistant. Some of us are really close to being pre-diabetic, type 2 diabetic. Some of us are already type 2 diabetic. Some people, I'm going to show you a person here who's been using this, who reversed type 2 diabetes in 4 months. But it's not everybody. Let me show you, where is this person here? Let me find this person. Right? This person. Right? This person. Right? This person in 4 months. What's happening here? Let me show you here. Hopefully, okay, in 4 months, this person reversed type 2 diabetes. Now, it's not everybody. I'm going to show you some person. I'm going to be fully transparent. Another person, I'm going to show you here. This person, it took them, I think, 7 months. This person was type 2 diabetic for, for 23 years. And it took her a year. So it's different for different people because it depends where you are in your journey. It depends how serious you are taking this, right? So this person here in her 70s was type 2 diabetic for 23 years. No more medications, reversed it in a year. Oops, what am I doing here? And this person reversed it in 6-7 months. So it's going to depend on how you are on it. To fast 23, 24 hours if you fast 23, 24 hours every day, you're talking about user 35, the OMA diet. So the OMA diet is 1 meal a day. So I wouldn't do every day because you want your body to remain metabolically flexible. Do it every so often. It's hard to have 1 meal a day and to have all your nutrients in 1 day, in 1 meal, to have enough of all your nutrients. That's the concern. So what is it? Let me show you what it is. It's called the Feel Great system. It comes down to when you skip breakfast and snacks, most people save about $8 to $20 a day. when they stop eating breakfast and snacks. This is going to cost you $5.30 a day to reverse all the conditions we talked about. It's been third-party tested to work as well as those semaglutides, those GLP-1 medication, without the side effects. So you can buy it. I'm going to be fully transparent. You can buy it at different places. One is Amazon. However, it's going to cost you way more because if you use, I have a link. You can use my discount link, the same I use. When you use it, you have a $60 rebate every month you order it. On Amazon, it's going to cost you way more. So it's sold as a 30-day. I'm going to show you where you can get the link. It's sold as a 30-day pack. So you get 30 uni mate for the morning. That's the Yoruba mate. 30 for the afternoon. Those are lemon flavors, but you can get, do I have the other flavor here? Where's the other flavor? There are 3 flavors. There's the lemon, there's the apple spice, and there's a ginger lemon. I would recommend you start with the lemon because everybody likes the lemon. So you get 60 of the Yoruba mate, right? 60 of these, 2 boxes, and 30 of the balance. The balance is basically, let me flip this so you can read the name. So the balance is the other fibers. You get 30 of them. So you get a 30-day pack. If you choose the subscription, you also get the bottle and you get the free hand mixer because the fibers are really thick. The subscription is not a contract. You can cancel it anytime. Now, these are the perks that you get if you use my discount code. Again, you can buy it wherever you want. You can go directly to the company and you can Google Unimate and order it there. It's going to be way more expensive. You're not going to get the $60 off every month. But once you order, if you decide to order and use my link, I will be notified. I will contact you. So you'll have access to me for free. I'll be there to guide you to make sure that you have the best results. We can text, we can get on a call, we can Zoom. Whatever questions you have, I'll be there to help you. Plus, you get access to so many resources. Several times a year, there's a 30-day Facebook group challenge. You're going to have access, so many things. But you don't have to. You can buy it from wherever you want. Also, if you use this link, you have a 90-day money-back guarantee. What does it mean? The company encourages you to get a blood work before you start. Use it consistently for 90 days and then do another blood work. You will see measurable results. What does it mean? I'm going to show some people. Yeah, I'm going to read it. Let me see, where is it here? Actually. So here, 66 days I've decreased insulin by 64%. Completely off blood pressure meds after over 47 years of high blood pressure. A1C down from 7.6 to 6.5. Lost 24 digits on the scale. Or this other person, this other testimonial, down 30 digits on the scale, 28 inches off my midsection. Cholesterol lipid panel normal. And I could go on and on and on. This person, 3rd week, 6 numbers down from the scale. Don't feel hungry at all. 2 meals a day, it's great. This other person, off blood pressure meds, off thyroid meds, off metformin. And I could go on and on and on, right? So different people have different results at different times because we all start from a different place. But you will have measurable results within 90 days. If not, you get your money back. So it's risk-free, basically. You have no risk. The only risk you have is not to get started. This is the best time because it can really minimize the impact of the holidays. We're heading towards the holidays. This will, actually I take this one when I go to a restaurant. I know there's going to be a lot of good food. I take this. This is easy to take with you. I take it to a restaurant. I ask for an extra glass with a little bit of water. Mix it before my meal. It lowers your post-meal blood glucose by between 34 and 37%. How do we know? This was third-party tested by the University of Sydney. They are the ones who came up with the glycemic index. They are the gold standard when it comes to blood glucose. So they tested it. This was tested also to increase your own GLP-1 by 60 to 70%. This is why it's in the PDR. PDR is the Physician Digital Reference Desk. That's where your doctor looks up all medications. Because it works as medications without the side effect. It's just herbs, right? Fibers and yerba mate, concentrate extract. I told you earlier, for those of you who've been on this life since the beginning, food is medicine. Whatever you put in your body can either heal you or harm you. You choose. Like I told you, choose your heart. Go to the gym or not, right? So it's been third-party tested. So you have a 90-day money-back guarantee. And I'm telling you, eating 2 meals a day, it's life-changing. No more. I have no desire for sweets. This is why I didn't drink this. I couldn't drink it. It was like too sweet. I like the taste. It was like too sweet. So I thought, well, maybe I'll empty half of it. I'll put water. And then I was like, why? Why do I have to force myself drinking those 16 tubes of sugar? So let me know, what questions do we have about anything that we talked about today? The OMAD diet, OMAD, 1 meal a day. That's what it stands for. It's basically, some people eat 1 meal a day. So it's very convenient, but it's very challenging to have all your nutrients, even all your fibers. Imagine the amount of fibers you need, the amount of proteins you need in 1 meal. Everything's very challenging to have. So I would say don't do it all the time. You can switch, right? Especially women doing intermittent fasting. Oops. I'm not supposed to say this word here, but doing time-based eating. Women are supposed to do it based on their hormones, on their cycles. Because depending on hormones, you have to eat more often or less often, right? So sometimes you do 2 meals a day, sometimes you 3 meals a day. Sometimes you can do a 24-hour fast. This triggers what is called autophagy. Autophagy is your own body detox system. It basically gets rid of all the damage, sick cells, all the viruses out of your body and replace them with new cells. It resets your gut with more new stem cells. So doing a 24-hour fast, you can actually take this. It does not spike your glucose. You can do this when you do your 24-hour fast. If you've never done time-based eating, don't start with the 24-hour fast. Start with the time-based eating. And if you decide to use my link, I'll be there to guide you. This is what, let me show you. If you were to, basically my link is here. If you click twice on my picture, it's going to bring down a little rectangle. If you click again on it, it's going to take you to my TikTok. So I'm going to show it to you different ways here. When you are on my TikTok account, there's a link here. You click on it, it's going to show you my tree link. So there's a link here. I think if you guys don't have the same link, but the second link, that's the fibers, a list of high fiber food. If you want it, if you don't see the link, DM me and just say fibers. I give you the link. This is for free. That's just a reference. Then if you click the top link, that's the Feel Great system, right? This is it here. It takes you directly to the company. You see you have the discount code because there's my name. $60 off every single month. All you have to do is choose the flavor. $5.30 a day, it's $159 a month. And it's refundable, 90 days money back guarantee. Free shipping with the subscription, you can cancel at any time. So, let me show you this here. So if you click twice here on my image, oops, you see the link here, right? So please, if you haven't given me a follow yet, give me a follow. Click the link here. So the first one is basically the Feel Great system. You order directly from the company. You see you have the $60 discount because it shows my name. All you have to do is click here, and from here you can choose your flavors. $5.30 a day to reverse all the conditions we talked about. $159 a month with the subscription. 90 days money back guarantee. Hey Linda, any more questions about it? So this is the great time to get started before the holidays. It's going to minimize the impact of the holidays. And let me see. Yes, I think I've seen all your comments, questions. If I have not, you can always DM me. If anybody's here on the Feel Great system, please share with us some of your results. I go live weekdays, 6:45 a.m. Pacific time. Evenings, it depends. Can be around 7:30, 8 p.m. Not every night Pacific time. And I have two accounts on TikTok. I have the Noko Knows. That's where I go live usually. I have the Noko or Yoga. Right, you guys are on the Noko or Yoga. I'm on Noko Knows, mainly lives. Any more questions before we get off this live? So make sure you give me a follow. And thank you so much for being here. If you know someone who's struggling with high blood pressure, high cholesterol, prediabetes, type 2 diabetes, hormonal imbalances, erectile dysfunction, those are linked, or type 2 diabetes, they're all linked to insulin resistance. That's what we can deal with naturally. So send them to me so I can, advise them. And DM me if I did not answer your questions. It's not, I didn't mean to ignore it. Sometimes for some reason I don't see them. If you need to reach out directly, I can share. I'm actually, what I'm going to do here, I'm going to show you this so you can, I don't know if you see the bottom here. Oops. Right, you can take a screenshot here. The bottom, let me show you guys here. So you see, let me see here, the bottom. Can take a screenshot. This is how you can reach out. Here, the bottom. Can take a screenshot. This is how you can reach out. Any questions? Any questions? Also, you know, what I just shared, just before I go, what I'd share. Well, I read Oko, everything we talked about is about, well, see, you see all those conditions here, the same root cause, it's all insulin resistance. So everything we talked about, reduce all of these. One thing, insulin resistance. So your A1C is a measure of your blood sugar over a 3-month period. That's all it means. And this leads to insulin resistance. So by lowering your insulin with all the strategies we talked about, lifting weight, building muscle mass, more fibers, 2 meals a day, optional this, you reverse everything. Your A1C will go down. That's how you do it. So thank you so much. What I taught you today, I hope you feel empowered. You have, different strategies to choose from. Hopefully you use them all. You'll have amazing results. I'll be there to guide you if you choose to. And I always need, more people to talk about it. So if you're interested in figuring out how you can get involved and collaborate with me, let me know you're interested and we can just chat and see if it's a good fit. Enjoy the rest of your day. Bye for now. It's a good fit. Enjoy the rest of your day. Bye for now.